Hello everyone, so today I want to do the collective reading for the full moon in Aquarius on August 3rd. So the first thing I would like to talk about is there are aspects that are happening to this moon that are very conducive to healing at this time. The healing itself has a lot to do with your identity and also being able to become an observer of your wounds. It's almost as though you're learning the strength that you need to be able to work past your traumas so that you can derive wisdom from them. There's also quite a few aspects that are causing a little bit of a struggle with this, since with this moon being in Aquarius, it's a little more of a detached emotional energy, but it's also one that's more about how you view what you're doing for the world and humanity. So it's like a tug of war between wanting to heal what is going on with you and also what you're putting out into the world. And if either of those things aren't authentic and true to you, it will cause an internal battle. It will cause confusion and possibly some escapism tendencies, to where instead of working through what can really help you at this time, because this can be very beneficial if you pull on these energies to help you work through this, because it is a very valuable skill to have, to be able to go in and dive deep and be able to observe your pain and process the emotions and then come out transformed from it. There's still a lot of energies right now that are at play, a lot of retrograde planets. These energies we've been dealing with for most of the year, and with this moon, it can help us start to pull together those lessons and try to become a better version of ourselves if we harness it. So the next thing I want to talk about are the crystals that came up for, I guess you can say that, popped into my head. I didn't really look up meanings like I usually do until after. Some I remember, some I don't. But this little piece right here is red tiger's eye, and it's warming and grounding, and it helps to ease sluggishness, and also winter blues are also mild depression. Gently energizes the body and awakens sexual energy. Good stone to place in a bath with rose quartz to soothe emotions. It's good for energizing the lower chakras as well as the solar plexus and releasing emotional tension. And it also is a really good protection stone as well. The next one I want to talk about is this lovely long piece right here, which is Amazonite. It facilitates loving, compassionate communication by bridging the heart and throat chakras. It helps to balance the energy and recovery from emotional disputes and traumas. You can also carry it with you to help with emotional challenges and relationship issues as well. Of course, I have plenty of amethyst sitting out here. There's one right here in this little plant. The little hearts that I have here as well are amethyst too. So, purifying, warding off negative influences, and protecting from environmental stress, calming the nervous system, easing headaches and migraines that come from stress. Good for the third eye and crown chakras and enhancing personal spiritual awareness. You can decide to wear or carry it if you want to help calm mental stress, and you can put it under your pillow to improve quality of sleep. And this little one right here, this little sparkly piece, is spirit quartz. It helps heal group issues or family concerns, easing communication and conflict, activates all chakras and brings them into balance with the outside world, helps create a feeling of stability and a peaceful center in life. And you can place it around your home to help encourage peaceful and harmonious family and group relationships. And then the last one we have is this little sphere right here, which is Lepidolite. It soothes fraught nerves and eases extreme mental stress or tension, brings peace, calm, and a feeling of security. It helps insomnia caused by mental overload or an inability to switch the mind off, relieves exhaustion, whether physical, mental, or emotional, and helps relieve depression and uplifts the mind. It's good for the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, and the third eye chakra. It helps ease anxiety and create balance in the home, as well as if you have a personal space you like to call your own, if you put it there, it can create peace in that space for you. So now that I've gone over the crystals that came through to me to talk to you guys about, I'm going to go ahead and do a short sound meditation to kind of get us all into the feel for the reading. And hopefully the messages that come through are really helpful for all of us at this time. Okay. Okay, so now that we're done with the meditation, I'll go ahead and start moving into our reading. So the first cards I'm going to pull are the themes. Pretty much the main focus of this energy that this full moon in Aquarius is going to be bringing us. Oh, I have one just want to jump out, which actually is very connected to the healing aspect of this. It was actually one of the, it's forming a sextile to the moon. Oh, okay. Okay, literally everything I said came out in these cards. For one, the moon came out. So, like I was saying, intuition, emotions, your unconscious, the messages you receive, whether they're in dreams or while you're awake from the divine at this time, are going to be very strong during this full moon. We also have Chiron, which is the sextile aspect I was talking about that is happening with the moon right now. It's currently in Aries in retrograde, and it's the one that is really pushing very hard on us to dive into our wounds and heal right now. I made a video on Chiron earlier, a few weeks ago. It was a pick a card, so if you want to check that one out, it does offer some advice in the areas you might need to heal at this time. Also, if you want to check your chart for where you have either Aquarius or Aries, these areas of your chart are what you need to focus on healing at this time. And then the last one we have is the first house, which is the house of self, which was what I was talking about. The other major aspect, which this is the trine that is happening from Chiron, is to the sun, which in essence is your heart and your deepest desires and what people see as you when you're presenting yourself. And discovering who you are, like I was saying, is very important. So using these energies can really help you dive deep into that through both healing and understanding from your intuition. So kind of confirming the messages I got, so that's nice. The next pull that I want to do is some tarot for what we can expect to come from this moon, or if those of you that like to do moon rituals or work around the moon, what you can potentially work on manifesting at this time, and anything that could possibly work against you right now that you should be wary of while you're trying to work with the energy of this full moon in Aquarius. Okay, so there's a lot of emotions obviously coming up in this one, since we're dealing with the moon, but I'm going to start first with this one. We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So with this energy, it's making me think of what we're dealing with as a collective, where we're almost pushing uphill towards these ideas that we have. We're very stubborn about it as well, because we almost don't want to let go of aspects of ourselves that we feel we've worked very hard to achieve. This is more in the realm physically that we deal with, whether your identity is based off of your status or what you've created or your reputation, even your family, just anything that can be seen here. You don't want to let go of that or anything tied to that energy, and to use the energy of this moon to be able to work through that, you can pull back and kind of take an observer's view of why it's hard for you to let go of this. It will help you to not only be practical about it, it could also help you be able to sit with yourself and make a plan on how to enact on really stepping forward and creating a different life for yourself, because you're realizing you really don't need to hold on to this aspect, because it's merely because that you're feeling like you're failing if you're letting this go, when in reality you'll be stepping into a much better place if you do. We also have here the Five of Chalices, which is the Five of Cups. And this is in reverse. We, for a long time, especially emotionally, our attachments, we've been thinking about what we missed out on and not seeing opportunities, whereas using the energy of this moon, we can open our eyes to the opportunities that are there and start moving forward, and realizing that aspects of our life that we're leaving behind or that are leaving themselves are actually healthy for us. They will bring us more emotional stability. They will also create a security we didn't have before, and a strength that we can pull from, because after looking at what we've been through and what we've lost, we can see where we're going and how much better the reward is for heading in that direction as opposed to staying in the past. We also have the High Priestess in reverse. With this, there is a lot of that energy that I was talking about, where if we are struggling to understand our identity and how we can bring that out into the world and how that can exist in the world, it will create a lot of push and pull, a lot of confusion, a lot of mental anguish in a way, because you're not sure if you can trust your intuition or the guidance being given to you. And using these energies to heal and to be able to rely on your intuition by stepping back away from the feeling of helplessness can help you step into the power of understanding that when you're in your truth, there isn't this need to have all the facts in front of you. You don't need to have this path that you can see, that you are walking down, and you know every little thing that's going to come up, so that way you can plan if you want to pit stop or you want to take a break. You'll know that things will be there along the way if you are following the path you need to. So this right here, the Seven of Chalices, there's a lot of choices that can be made. This obviously can cause a lot of haziness and make it hard for you to make a decision in the first place. You don't know if the right decision is the one you're gonna pick, or you're just gonna miss out like the fear before. But using this energy to set an intention for knowing that whatever you choose is the right choice, that you're being guided and you're comfortable in it, will actually bring around changes. Because here we have the world and these doors opening, these opportunities. By making the decision to make a choice, you open this up. If you stay in the energy of being stagnant and just not wanting to put yourself out there and really start working on these things, you'll be hindering yourself. But if you push through it and you start making decisions for the betterment, then things will start turning in your favor, and you'll start to see things moving forward and coming into place. And plus things you didn't even see coming, since this is going to bring in opportunities that you're not even currently experiencing at the moment. So there is a lot of healing with this moon, even though it is in Aquarius. And a lot of times people tend to associate Aquarius with being detached from your emotions. It really has a lot to do with how you use this energy, because it can be very beneficial to use this energy to heal, because you look at a picture bigger than yourself, and then you're able to come back in with viewpoints that are more objective, that can help you get past barriers that were stopping you before. These next ones that I'm going to pull are specific areas that could be focuses at this time. If you're not sure, like I said, you can check your natal chart and see where these placements are falling, and if this lines up with any of these, then it can be advice on how to work through those. So let's pull a few. So the first one we have is victim consciousness. This can come, obviously, if we have a lot of wounds in childhood and growing up, we carry those with us. A lot of times it's hard to step out of the fact that things have happened, and we can heal those things that happened that we had no choice but to try to survive through. But once we have gotten out of that environment where we are no longer in this need to keep this survival state, we need to understand that in order to heal this aspect of ourselves, instead of cycling back around, we need to see what we are carrying from that experience and what we are putting out into the world by projecting that experience onto others and situations that we may not be even aware of that we're doing. By doing this, we open up a lot of blocked energy, possibly even energy that was draining you of creative energies or wanting to explore new things, because you blame everything that has held you back on your past, instead of realizing that you have the power to step through the doorway into a new life where you've made the decision to own up to things that you might have done, as well as moving on from what happened in the past. And when I say move on, I don't mean completely forget about it and bury it away. You need to acknowledge it and love your inner child in the way that maybe you weren't nurtured, so that you can heal that aspect and you gain more strength from that. And then we have hole in the soul, and it's reversed. With this one, this is a great time to heal any pieces of yourself you feel are broken, that have been completely drained, that possibly could be causing you a lot of anxiety and depression because of what's circling in your mind over and over. The feelings of failure or not accepting yourself. This can be overcome by stepping out and realizing that being as you are right now, you are whole, you are complete. You don't have these places in you that are missing, and being able to come into that clarity will bring you so much peace and a calmness that can help you continue to heal the parts of yourself that right now you might not feel comfortable facing. And as if we needed another confirmation, we got healing again in the line where I'm talking about healing. But like I was saying, this is such an important time for healing. This moon might not really sound that important. Like, a lot of moons recently were about diving into your life and setting things straight and getting into a motion where you were balancing out so many aspects of your life, and just a bunch of one after another happening where you didn't have time to step back and assess everything that's just being thrown into your life. This moon is offering us a time where we can step back and kind of shed light on each individual place where something new has been thrown in and something old has been pulled away. And in acknowledging each of these things instead of skimming over them with this very aggressive energy, we can take the time to step back and reflect. And reflection in itself will be healing. Crying is healing. Working with water, where it's going to the beach or taking a nice bath, even playing in the pool. Childlike things will help bring so much healing at this time, especially if it is like your own little community, if it's like your family you're doing this with or close friends. I know a lot of us can't really go out to public places that easily right now, but for those that have their close-knit that they can see, it'd be really beneficial just to have fun. And even if you can't see them in person and you're doing it over the internet, Aquarius does rule the internet. It's communication and networking. So if the people you're close to are over the internet, have a little get together and just talk the night away and have fun, play games, talk about silly things. Just bring out that side of yourself that lets you kind of open up, and that'll open you more to being able to express yourself. Because right now, with the way things are, a lot of people are really focusing on dreams, whether it's dreams you are actually having that keep reoccurring, that are trying to tell you something that you aren't listening to, that could possibly help you with healing. Those are usually messages. But a big thing I'm getting here is people are starting to look back at what were dreams that they had that they threw away. And being able to look back and revisit this and find out why you did, you might possibly look at it now and feel like, I might not have been able to do it then, but what's stopping me from maybe dipping my foot into it a little bit now and seeing how I feel about it? There's so much that we can do, even if it is just with our group of internet friends, just trying something new. Maybe you want to do a podcast, or you want to paint and create. There's so many platforms you can put stuff out on right now where you can just try it. And you don't have to have people coming and, sorry for the noise. You don't have to have people coming in and trying to tell you you're doing a good job. This is something that you should be doing to kind of see if this dream was something you really would like to do. And if so, like, you can start it as a hobby and eventually probably turn it into a dream job. You just, because if you look at each of these cards, they have numbers. The victim consciousness, healing, and dreams reversed are all the same number. They're all 3. A symbol of creativity and ingenuity and wanting to communicate your heart's desires out into the world. In order to do this and move out of this turmoil you felt from wherever trauma hit you at your life, by healing it and revisiting what you gave up on, you can bring about this piece of yourself back, because you can heal this. It's a 9. There's a 3 and a 6 making a 9. But you can heal this. It can be a completion, and then you can move on once you do the healing into your new, which is, like I was saying before with the world, you can move on to this new phase of your life where things happen that you weren't even expecting. So for the next group, I want to do some energies. Now, these can be energies that can work for us and they can work against us. So just to be in the energies that we need to be in for the best outcome, but also what we can avoid so we're not falling back into old patterns that hold us back. I swear these things are just going to keep repeating. So, first one, again, we have moon. Feelings. This moon, the energy we really need to pull on is literally the aspects of the moon, like being true to our deepest emotions and our intuition and listening and our creativity, and being able to pull from this place of nurturing ourselves so that we can put out into the world what is us as opposed to pain. Then we have Virgo, the alchemist. Now, currently, there are no planets residing in Virgo, but it's earth energy and it's transmuting energy, which is very important right now. We can use to our advantage these emotions that are being brought up and the perspective we gain on them to transform them into what we need for better understanding ourselves and what we can create. Coming from the space of listening to yourself and pulling together the spark that's ignited when you start to look back and you realize that it might not have been the right time then, but I'm stepping into the right time now. And everything I learned then, I can carry with me and make this a reality now by transforming my lessons into the groundwork and the stability and knowing the details of what I need, because I didn't fail. What I did is I learned. And we have Mars showing up. Mars is also in Aries right now. This is saying action. And it's like I was saying, we need to make the decision to do this. If we just sit around and decide we're going to remain stagnant, then it's not that it's even going to stay the same. It will get worse, because this pain will keep multiplying. This regret will keep multiplying. It will keep eating away. And you have to realize that with this right here, it says quincux. It's a type of aspect in charts, but it's saying complexity. All of these things aren't going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to feel like it's just difficult. Like things contradict themselves and you're having to adjust to things that might be difficult for you. But you're also really curious about what can come from exploring this. And as you learn more and more about yourself, you begin to transform your idea of what it feels like to put the true you out, and the fear starts to dissipate of others' expectations and instead is replaced by the love for yourself. Just remember, with all this energy going on right now, that while you're trying to do this work, you might be irritated by people around you who choose not to. Try not to be in a judgmental place and turn what experiences you're having into learning experiences, as opposed to lashing out. And then the last one we have is 12th house, surrender, and it's in reverse. So like I was saying, this energy you need to stay out of is one of not wanting to let go of these things that don't serve you anymore. They are hindering your growth, and in order to continue moving forward, you need to be able to surrender these things that you feel are your identity. If you feel like living through your health issues is your identity, or living through your traumas is your identity, or your status, look deep inside and see what makes you happy and why you're scared to express that. Because the joy you have inside from things that you create, or what you really want to create that you're repressing, are really what's holding you back from letting go of this mentality that you need to have something wrong with you in order to be able to move throughout the world. Because in doing these things, you're actually blocking off guidance and your own intuition by holding on to these spaces that are filling up everything in you so that nothing else can come through. So the last thing I want to do for us is I want to pull some advice. I am actually going to read these ones because they actually have their own unique special messages that go with them. Once I can get them out of here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get us our advice. And then once all of them out, I will show you and read what they have for us. Okay, so the first one we have, let me see if you guys can see it, is undressing of a salad. So I'm trying to hold it to where you guys can see the whole picture. There we go. Okay. So it's balance, avoiding extremes, achieving the impossible, and being impossible. So what this card is saying is things are in motion and the outcome is impossible to predict. A cool head is required to deal with this, as is a readiness to jump in whatever direction seems appropriate. Exercise cool judgment while staying ready for the unpredictable. Sudden changes of fortune may appear, good or bad, but they are in flux and can be rechanneled if necessary. Develop poise. Stay calm. You can come out a winner here, but it is likely to take concentrated effort. Use power with delicacy and discretion. So this kind of said a lot of what I just said. But this right here, I don't know if you guys can see, 31, it goes to a 4, which is about foundations and building security. So with this message, that's what this will help build. Now, this card is a special card. Yes, it's blank, but this is literally fairy guide. What this is what you go to with your faith, what you immediately go to when you feel like you need protection and love, and a sense of knowing things are happening for a reason and things are going to be okay. Know that this space during this time is your refuge. That at any time you need to, you can go here if things seem too difficult. It will always show a silver lining. It will always show a light you need. But you just have to believe that this is here for you. And it is the 0. Oh, okay. Start going in and out. That's fine. It is the 0, which is the beginning. It's creation. And creation seems so important with this. It seems to be a theme running throughout this. It's just creation. And then we have we have Gaucha. Sudden shock, unexpected events, and rude awakenings. So, Gaucha is in a reading speaks to us of sudden, often violent breakdowns of existing structures, habits, patterns, and or attitudes. When we become too tightly confined by our own self-imposed limitations, including the desire for comfort and security, Gaucha kindly breaks the structure restraining us, whether we think we want him to or not. On a soul level, we know this to be necessary, but in our everyday thoughts, we usually get pretty upset about it. However, breakdown can lead to breakthrough. This is liberation, and we often haven't a clue what to do with it. This is usually the beginning of a period of confusion, even disorientation. While we search for a way forward, although we may think we are simply searching for a way back to what we had before. A recommendation is do not try to pick up the pieces and put them back like they were. Consider instead what you would like to build in that part of your life, and this time remember to leave room for growth. This is really a lot of confirmation for what's been coming out in this reading. This card also reduces to a 1, which is starting. It's like Mars, it's like action. You're starting again. So we're moving from creation of a beginning, and this is starting it. So it can be very abrupt, this start, unexpected. It can jar us, but it's a jarring that we need. And if some of us are deciding to hide from it, it's gonna hit us hard anyway, so it would be better just to kind of choose it yourself. So the next one we have right here. Let's see if I can get the glare off of him. Okay. So we have, that gnome. So it's time to leap into the air, letting the earth turn beneath you, and discover where you come down again. Reasonable risks are okay. Even unreasonable risks are probably okay. Use your head and look before you leap, of course, but do so understanding that the actual jump is likely to be very rewarding. No guarantees, but then there never really are anyway. No matter how pretty the paper they may seem to be printed on, and the scroll work around the edge. In a reading, the presence of that gnome tells us that the forces of chaos are at work. Things may not be as they seem, and this may very well be a good thing. Look for the unexpected, find the opportunity in it, and go for it. He says that no matter how confused things may seem, there is a way to make them better. But it is a creative way, one you haven't tried before. He says think amazing new thoughts. I swear these are just pulling together everything that this reading's been saying. Even how creativity is just running through everything for you guys. It's for us. This is a collective reading, like diving back into our creativity is so important. And this reduces to an 8, which 8 can represent a lot of hard work and pushing through a lot of things, but being greatly rewarded for it. Perseverance is so important, and not giving up and you end up rising and creating a legacy for yourself and daring to do these things that scare you. And then the next one we have, let me get her up here for you guys. Okay, so the loan, unconditional giving, unconditional receiving. If you are stuck or blocked in a situation and the loan turns up in a reading, you probably need to stop focusing on what you are trying to accomplish and simply give to others, freely and generously and unconditionally. Try a few random acts of kindness, unconditionally given, of course. Go do some volunteer work somewhere. Mow your elderly neighbor's lawn, or take homemade soup or some flowers from your garden to someone who you know is ill. Give some help to a coworker just because they need it. Give to a needy stranger, whether or not you think he deserves it. Take flowers into a hospital and give them to a stranger at random, or give them to a nurse with compliments from the universe. Give a bit more than you think you can afford. Go a little further than you think you reasonably can. Empty your wallet or purse of all your cash for a beggar on the street. Don't worry, it will fill up again, much faster than you might expect. This is tying into the Aquarius energy I was talking about earlier, where focusing outside of yourself and being grateful and giving and being of community can bring great healing. This card is also a 3, like all the other 3s that we had that we need for healing. And then we had a special one decide that it just did not want to stay in the deck, so let's see what this final message is that wanted to make an appearance. So we have Sylvanus, truth, cutting through deception, and clarity. At this time, you are discovering new truths about yourself. Okay, I can see why this one fell out. They are essential for you to know in order to create relationships based on mutual respect, affection, and trust. These things can only work if we see ourselves and others as we are. Currently, both fairy and this world are functioning as a giant mirror in which we can see ourselves in many surprising ways. People tend to dread this because we assume that we are worse than we think we are, but this is far from necessarily true. Now is a time for finding out false and misleading beliefs you have accepted and discovering that you are a better person than you thought, and have the potential to accomplish more than you believed you could. If someone says you are better or simply different than you think you are, don't automatically reject this. Think it over carefully. You have more to give and more to enjoy than you have been giving yourself credit for. That is a very beautiful ending message. And really ties together what this moon is wanting to do for us. Introspection and healing, moving into our truth and stepping into to these opportunities that will create a different world for us is what we need. And this number, the only 7 that we have in this whole reading. 7 is number of wisdom, of introspection and solitude, in answers. We will benefit so much from releasing what's holding us back and stepping into our beauty right now. If anyone would like a personal reading on this or anything for that matter, I'll leave my Instagram information down below. It's where I do my readings. So I hope this brings messages you need, or direction, or clarity, and I wish you the best of luck moving through this new phase. Bye.